So let's start with it. The Java basics. Java is a language I believe, guys, people are mostly feared upon. It's a language which is feared upon a lot. People say it's very difficult, it's not in use in the market, stuff like that. But no, Java is absolutely trendy even in 2025. Before we dive in about Java, before we dive in into Java, I'd like to introduce IT Talent Hub a little bit. So we are the largest community of IT professionals in the United Kingdom, and we have a very comprehensive curriculum that is targeted towards IT jobs and making students and professionals upskill or start from scratch pertaining to their development journey. Now, our office is located in Ilford, UK, and it's accessible to learners. If learners wish to visit the office, they may, for sure. And we don't provide only the trainings, but we also have a dedicated recruitment team. This recruitment team helps our students who have completed their courses to find the right job according to their caliber. Moving forward, these are the clients that we have. These are some of the clients that we have. And I'm sure some of the, let's say, companies that are visible over here, you must be aware of those companies, I believe, right? Now let's move forward. Lots of success stories that we got. I won't even be able to keep a count of these. Moving forward, what makes us different? See, depending upon the varying requirements of the market, because the market is rapidly changing, there comes a need when our content needs to be, let's say, updated. And the content needs a lot of research. We are known for a very good amount of experience in training domain and in recruitments. The curriculum is tailored to the UK job market because that is where you want your jobs. We have lots of students there that are undergoing groomings and lots of students who have been placed in the last month as well. And we offer exclusive job support program post training. Talking about our connections, we got lots of connections, and the curriculum that we have is absolutely comprehensive, and it is completely in sync with the job market's requirements in the UK. Now, moving forward, let's try to understand the history of Java. Coming back to Java. Now, I have written Birth of Oak over here, but we were talking about Java, right? Well, what is the anomaly over here? Why is this? So, in the year 1991, Java was developed with the name of OAK, Oak. Oak was the name that was selected for Java. And this was actually developed by a company called Sun Microsystems. The Sun Microsystems had a oak tree. They had an oak tree right outside their office, a very beautiful oak tree, I would say. And they were not finding a name, and they kept the name of Oak. Now, how Java came into existence, let's try to understand a history. So, in the year 1990s and in 1980s as well, there was a very big problem that if you were to create software for microwave ovens, you had to use a different technology. You had to use a different programming language. If you had to create softwares for televisions, for merely as simple as tasks as changing the channels or increasing volume or decreasing volume, you had to make a different software. You had to use a different language. If you had to create software for VCRs, you had to use different language. So what this green project was aimed at is it was aimed at researching and developing which a programming language, which covers a bigger area of implementation of programming, like in ovens and smart appliances and TVs, a single language that could be used to create softwares for all these appliances. Usage example I've given you about ovens, how a software is used in ovens. So to create that software, that same language, like Java, they wanted to create that so that it could be used in all the appliances available at in that era. Now, the reason for failure, why it could not be used in all the appliances, the same language could not be used to create software for all the appliances. The reason is simple. The reason is that in that era, we did not have RAM. We did not have powerful RAMs. Also, Java required quite more power. The power consumption of Java was high, and there used to be lots of delays because Java was a little bit slow. But still, Java, even after 30 years of its inception, 30 plus years of its inception, is still so relevant. How and why? Let's try to understand. Let's talk about why the name Java is derived and why was the name Java given to Java. So slowly, steadily, this company, these three peoples which I spoke about, Patrick Norton, James Gosling, and Mike Sheridan, and their team, they got annoyed that we have developed something so powerful, and the current tech that we have available in the market, it's not able to handle this language because maybe we are very ahead of our time. And they used to still improvise it, improve it, update it. And whenever they used to hit any challenges, just to chill and relax, they used to go to a coffee shop nearby to their office. And over there, a coffee bean, let's say a coffee bean called Java coffee bean, was highly prevalent at that time. And that was the coffee which used to give them relaxation, peace of mind. And this is the coffee shop incident which made them to change the name from Oak to Java because Oak was already a registered company. That was also one of the reasons. Then they named it Java. And after they named it Java, they found their way into the internet world. What they saw is that initially, when they wanted to create a software, they wanted to create a programming language to create softwares for multiple devices. So their target was one language that we can use to create softwares for multiple devices. That dream was shattered. But one thing happened in their favor. Java, even though was not good and compatible for all these devices, there's one place where Java found its usage. And that, my dear students, my dear friends, was internet. In the world of internet, there was a huge problem. In the world of computer softwares and internet, there was a huge problem. This huge problem was solved by Java. And because of this reason, Java is highly used in computer softwares, in desktop softwares, in smartphone softwares, and in over the internet. These are the reasons. Well, what are the reasons? I didn't even tell you about it. So, guys, does anybody know how Java solved the problem of the computer softwares or mobile softwares or the internet? Does anybody know? Any idea regarding that?
Did it allow them all to use the same language, making it easier to
No.
code?
Yes, that was one of the reasons. Very good, Seth. But same language could be used over cell phone, over desktop applications, and over internet applications. But how did the same language work and what was the problem? Let's try to understand a little bit basics of it. Lakshmi, do you have any idea how this thing worked? I guess you told me that you had a background of Java, right, Lakshmi?
Yes.
So can you help us and can you tell me what all you remember about the way Java solved this problem? It's okay if you've forgotten. All of us forget things. Academics is that way. I understand.
But I'm not sure how it was, and like Java was used in mostly web applications, and in embedded applications it has been used. So we can
Correct.
build multiple applications with the help of Java, which is very simple. There are multiple
Right.
versions has been even getting into the Java, which is like we cannot say Java is just a simple. It's even a deep ocean which we are going to on learning. It is there are many versions coming inside. So I'm not
Right.
sure about how it works right now.
Okay. All right. That's absolutely all right, Lakshmi. I see. I'll tell you guys about me. Whenever I am into my training sessions or whenever I'm out somewhere, I never like to belittle anyone because the fact is that many times we learn things for the sake of learning sometimes, or even if we learn things, we don't learn it to that depth. But I believe to crack interviews these days and also in the past, if you had a very deep knowledge of something, well, it's a fantastic journey. And also, one thing about my training, if you know, it's fine. If you don't know, that is the reason you are in the training for. So I don't judge, I don't mind that at all. Another thing about my training is that I would want you to participate and tell me honestly, Rahul, we don't know. Okay, Rahul is my name, but I don't want to introduce myself to you people. Let my work make all the noise. Okay, let my work introduce me to you people. That is how I'd like it. So, the second thing about me and my trainings that I was talking about, I would love you people to participate, and I would love it if you people are letting me know that this is something that I don't know. Please tell me. That is how it is like. So, moving forward, let's see how Java solved this problem. Now, the languages which came before Java, were there no languages which came before Java? Well, there were absolutely many languages that came before Java. And why Java made all the noise? Mhm. There must be something in Java that Java solved really well. Let me tell you. Before Java was, and before C, there was something that was known as COBOL. If you guys have heard about it, if you have not, well, your
Yes.
parents might have heard about it. Ah, okay, perfect. So COBOL was a language, then came C, then came C++, but all these languages were lacking something very basic that for in today's world is very easily available. And that is, I won't reveal it. C. Let's try to understand the working of C because C++ also works in the same way. So let's try to understand the working of C++. C also works in the same way, and let's see what was the limitation. So back in the days, imagine you have a computer and you have written some code. You have written some code to create an application. So that code that you have written, this is how the C++ code looks like. Now, again, what is a code or what is a code? Basically, well, it is nothing but some few things that you write to tell your computer to do something. If you want to create a software, you have to tell your computer that the software should have these functionalities in it, and those functionalities you write in the format of a code. Okay. So, well, this was a working of C. My bad. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So, if imagine you have written C code, C language code. That code, the moment you run that code or the moment you send that to the compiler is a software which understands your code and converts it into the language of zeros and ones. Why does it do so? Is because the processor or the CPU that you have in your computer only understands the language of zeros and ones. It does not understand the language of printf or return zero and this and all. So we need a software, a very small software that converts your written code into the code of zeros and ones. And this code of zeros and ones goes into the processor. This is how the processor looks like. And it gives you the output. As simple as that. The output can be as simple as some basic print statement, something that you want to be visible on the screen, or it can be something as complicated as a game, a desktop game, basically. So that is how things were working before Java had come. But what is the limitation over here? Well, I'll tell you. The compilers which were built, they were made in such a way that they were architecture specific. That means imagine you had a Windows XP, I or Windows XP Pentium you had, or I'll take some modern processor names. Imagine you had Windows 7 i5, and you compiled that particular code, what happens generally is whenever you're doing this, the compiler actually first of all goes to the processor and looks at the processor, looks at the architecture of the computer, and based on the architecture of the computer and the processor, it creates the machine code. So this zeros and ones code is called the machine code. This code, hello world code that is written over here, this is called a code written in high level language. So high level language to machine code, compiler does this work. But this machine code is a code which will be understood only by this processor. So imagine if I give you, imagine this is my computer, and if I give you the machine code, you have the compiler, you have the processor. If I give you my machine code in your computer, and if I ask you to run it, well, it will not give the correct output. It will not even be able to understand my particular machine code. So imagine we have Seth. Seth has created a beautiful, amazing game, and he wants to give that particular game to, let's say, Ajay. Now, Ajay is someone who is a very smart person who is who loves doing smart work. So imagine Seth has created a game using C++ language, and he is giving that particular game directly. The source code he is giving directly to Ajay. Seth is giving it to Ajay. Ajay takes that source code or the high level language code, and Ajay goes to a company, sells that game to the company, earns revenue, and now tell me whose loss has it been? The loss of Saf, right? So it is very risky to give your code to someone if you want them to see your application. It's very risky to give your code to someone. What can be done in this case then? Imagine I'm talking about C or C++. Your code, high level language code, you cannot give it to someone like that. What can be done in this case? Think.
You make sure they can't read it on the processor.
Okay, if I make sure they can't read it on the processor, imagine Saif, Ajay is your best friend, and you don't know he is going to betray you, but you give your source code to him. Your source code, your high level language code you have given to Ajay. Ajay is running it in the processor, and the processor is understanding it because you have given the code. You have given just the high level code, which is called source code. So absolutely fine. But if he steals the source code, how can I make sure that he does not understand, his computer does not understand the source code? The one thing that I can do is I can give him the machine code. But if I give him the machine code, the problem is his computer won't understand the machine code that was generated on your computer. So whatever machine code you create, he cannot understand the machine code. He cannot sell it to anybody else. But he can't even see your game then. What can be done?
Mm.
So the answer
I'm not
is
sure.
C and C++. Exactly, guys. This was the problem. This was a problem. The machine code created on one computer could not be run, could not be understood by another computer. That was a huge problem. And that's the reason softwares created on one computer could not be given to the another computer. That was a huge problem in C and C++. Then came Java, and Java solved this problem. How Java
Platform
solved the problem?
independent.
Okay,
Platform
let's be
independent.
platform independent. I totally agree with you. How Java became platform independent? Like how did Java turn into a platform independent language?
Like if the code runs on any machine, like irrespective of the hardware or the or OS that we are using,
Exactly.
so it just need the
Exactly.
JVM.
Okay, I'll go one layer deeper. How does your software works on any other platform? Like if I've created a software on my computer, on my desktop, and the code is in Java, how will that particular code work in your computer? Imagine I don't want to give me, I don't want to give you my source code, but I want my software to run on your computer. So if you were talking about C and C++, I can only give you my machine code, but my machine code will not work on your computer or your cell phone, right? Are you getting what I'm saying? What the problem is,
Yes,
guys? Are you?
have the dot
Hmm,
Yeah.
Java code, right? The byte code. So if the byte code has been, we have a JVM. So if
very good.
the JVM just runs the byte code. If you have the byte code, which is so the byte code is just dependent on the machine, not the code.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Steph, Ajay, did you get an idea of what she said, or you want me to explain that explain that thing?
Could you
Yeah, I
explain
can
it, please?
understand it.
Okay. Who wants me to explain it?
Could you explain it for me, please?
No problem, sir. That's perfectly all right. Guys, a quick revision for you people as well. Let's start this. So what happens is in the world of Java, when you write some code, it's called source code, okay? And the source code that you write is in a language which humans can understand. High level language is what we call it. So imagine you have created a file called hello world.java. You want to give that an extension. Hello world.java is a file that you have created in which you have written some Java code. Now, if you want to see the output of that code, if you want that code to be processed by the computer, then what happens is you have to send it to a software which is known as a compiler. Now, if you remember, compiler was there in the case of C and C++ also, but the Java compiler works a little differently. Java compiler does not create machine code directly, but it creates something that is known as byte code. And this byte code which it creates, it is not in the format of zeros and ones. It is in a format of messed up stuff, combining strings and combining zeros and ones and hexadecimal numbers and F and A and 5 and 2 and numerals and everything. It's in this kind of a messed up form. Now, if something is in a messed up form, can you understand it? Steph, if something is in a messed up form, like I'll give you an example. While I is less than 0, complete the loop. Is this understood by you? Or if I say 5f, 3 at, 2 star, percentage symbol. If I tell you this, what
No,
are you going to understand?
you can't understand it.
Yeah. So the first thing or the second thing, which is easy to understand?
Um, the second thing or the
The
first
second
thing.
thing, the first thing, exactly. The while thing, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So if I tell you if age is less than 18, print, you are eligible to vote. You are not eligible to vote. This is easy to understand, right? And this is how we write code in Java. But the code that you write in Java, human understandable code that you write in Java, is stored in a file called .java extension file. And that gets converted into a byte code. Now, this byte code is something which nobody can understand. Literally nobody can understand. So compiler converts the code into a byte code. Byte code again goes into a JVM. What is a JVM? Again, a software which is responsible for converting this byte code, which is in the format of, let's say, it's in the format of mixture of different stuff. So this bytecode goes to the JVM, and now JVM goes and asks the processor, that processor, what language do you understand? Processor tells it that the sequencing of zeros and ones should be this way. I understand this language. So JVM converts a machine code of that sort, which will be understood by the PC or by the computer on which it is installed. And now this machine code goes to your processor, and processor gives you an output. But this particular thing, well, the compiler and the JVM, the compiler and the JVM, these are two tools out of the bundle of lots of tools which you get with the help of, like, which you get in a bundle called a JDK. So whenever you install Java, where installing Java requires you to install JDK. JDK stands for Java Development Kit. What is it? It's a composition or it's a bundle of compiler and JVM and lots of other tools together for running Java code. But still, how this JDK is solving the problem? So imagine, Seth, this particular thing is what you are facing. There's a guy called Shri, imagine, and on Shri's PC, we have a JDK. And imagine, Steph, imagine you have created a game. You have created a super cool game, and you have when you created that game, you gave your bytecode file rather than giving your source code file. Now you gave your bytecode file, which Shri will not be able to understand. Imagine Shri is also one of the best friends. Okay, so there is a bytecode file that you have given to Shri. Okay, and you want Shri to see how your game is working. You don't want Shri to steal your game. So you don't give your source code, you give your bytecode. Are you getting till now, Steph?
Yes.
So this bytecode file will have an extension of dot class. And this bytecode file, when you give to Shri, and if Shri has JDK installed on his computer, then this bytecode file will be entering the JVM, and then the JVM on Shri's PC will ask the processor of the Shri's PC that, hey, uh, processor, just tell me what language do you understand? Now, Shri's PC's professor, whatever language his PC's processor understands, JVM is going to convert your bytecode in that format. So for your computer, JVM converted the bytecode in different format. For Shri's processor, JVM will convert your bytecode in another format, whichever format Shri's PC's processor understands. So then this machine code which the JVM has created, according to the understanding and according to the format which Sri's computer's architecture understands, according to that, whatever machine code is created, that machine code will actually go to the processor and give an output, and the game will start working on Shri's PC also, even without you having to share your source code. Is making sense now?
Yeah.
So imagine, Seth, you have created a super cool game that's compatible with cell phones also. Now you have created a super cool game and you are giving your bytecode file to some person on who is using Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. On their cell phone, JVM is installed, JDK is installed. Then you tell me the code written on your computer, can that code run on a cell phone which has JDK?
Yes, because it will transfer into
Exactly.
code and go to the processor.
Exactly. So, Lakshmi and Ajay, did you as well understand how this thing is happening? And did you also get a revision of how it is happening?
Yeah, I've understood.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, this is what is known as WORA, WORA. Write once, run it anywhere. And this is the reason why the code written on any of the computers could be run on any other computer, be it a tablet PC, be it a cell phone, be it a smartphone, I mean, be it a desktop application, be it a web application, software written in one particular computer could be written anywhere down the line, anywhere in any of the computers which has JDK on it. Because JDK has JVM, which understands the architecture of the computer it is installed on and converts the bytecode into machine code, which that particular architecture's processor understands. So, guys, this was the idea of JDK and JVM and Java that I wanted to give you all. So far, any questions, guys?
No.
No, no questions, Rahul.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the confirmation, guys. Now, if you understood this concept, let's dive a little deeper and let's try to see practical. Because what I believe in is like I only like 20 to 25% of theory and 75%, 70 to 75% of the times I love doing practicals because what I believe in is first of all, Practicals clear your theoretical knowledge way more than being taught only theoretical stuff. Do you guys agree with me on that?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly, guys. So this animation I had to show you. Okay. Now we're gonna start using Java. And for the sake of starting to use Java, what we're gonna do is we're not gonna use that traditional notepad method. Lakshmi, when you learned Java, how was it taught to you, or and where did you learn it from? Can you just give me a brief idea? And where did you use to write your Java code on? Was it Notepad? Was it Vim? Was it Atom? Was it VS Code? Over to you.
Starting while I was learning, they have explained
Hmm.
me about the notepad and later on Eclipse,
Okay. Okay.
and I've started doing on Eclipse and VS Code as well, and Springboard SDS tool, right? So we have used these.
Yes. That's wonderful. So you've had quite a very good idea on Java, Lakshmi. Wonderful, beautiful. And talking about Seth and Ajay, guys,
Yeah, I
ever
use
had any Mhm.
VS Code.
VS
VS
Code?
Code.
Amazing, 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 guys. So many times what happens is when we talk about Java, well, it's something that is a very feared upon language, but actually it's nothing like that, to be honest. Java, if you understand the basics of it, I tell you, there's no other technology that will be very difficult for you once you learn Java. Like all other technologies become absolutely easy once you understand Java. Java is that powerful. So let's start with the very fundamentals of Java, the very basics of Java. Okay, Lakshmi must be knowing about them for sure. So let's begin. Guys, please confirm if my VS Code screen is visible to all of you.
I can't see it.
You can't see it. Okay, let me reshare it. Just allow me a moment. Okay, guys, can you see this folder that I have over here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So to write a Java file, what you gotta do is just create a new file maybe in the VS Code, and let's call this some basic name. Let's say hello world dot Java. I hit enter, and this kind of a structure will be created. Now, what you gotta do is, well, basically Java has certain procedure that you have to follow while you are writing. The concepts of hoops and this and that, lots of things are there, but we are going to talk about it later, maybe in tomorrow's session. Today, let's try to just understand. Java has a concept of class, and whatever code you want to write, you will write inside class itself. So maybe I'll write hello world, and I'll write class hello world. Inside this, I'll write PSVM, public static void main string args. What is this basically? Well, this is the starting point of writing any code in Java. So whatever code you are going to be writing, the starting point is going to be public static void main. Now, when JVM is reading the code, JVM reads the code in this manner. Which manner? I'll tell you. JVM starts running the code from top to bottom. Okay. So imagine as an output, whenever you run this Java file, as an output, you want hello world or hello everyone to be printed on the screen. For that, what you want to do? Well, there's just a code that you have to write. A shortcut is SOUT, or some people call it SOUT as well. So SOUT, hit enter, system out, println, and in these curved brackets, you got to write, let's say, hello, guys. And I'm going to save it. How did I know that it is not saved? Well, on VS Code, if you can see this small bubble over here, are you able to see my cursor, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. The small bubble that you see over here, that small bubble basically tells me that it's not saved. I save it, the bubble is gone, so that's how you know it's saved. Now to run this particular file, first of all, you have to supply this file to the compiler, as we had seen. To supply this file to compiler, what I can do is I can just open a command prompt real quick and I can write a command. There's a command to it. You've got to write Java C. That is Java compiler. You want to send this file to the Java compiler. And you're going to write Java C. Sorry. Hello world. My bad. I'll just increase the size of it. And yeah, I'll write Java C hello world dot Java. Now, the moment I hit enter over here on the left hand pane, see, there's only one file. Can you see that? There's hello world dot Java. Only one file is there, right?
Yeah.
If I hit enter, there's another file that's created. I didn't do anything. Did you see that hello world dot class file got created? This dot class file. Well, basically, this dot class file is a file which is bytecode file. You want to see what's inside a bytecode? Well, it's going to say that file is not displayed in the text editor because this is Java class file. Click here to decompile and open. Let's say decompile class file. Okay. A little bit of stuff is visible over here, of course, but since it is simple code, it is visible. If we would have went into the complications of it, it would not have been able to decipher much. So hello world.class, if you open it using notepad, nothing will be visible here. Now, we have a bytecode with us. So compiler has done its work. It's given us a bytecode. This bytecode, well, basically, we're going to send to the JVM, and then JVM is going to give us an output. That's all. So to send this file to the JVM, all you got to do is type this command called Java space hello world. When you write Java space hello world, it is going to pick up this particular bytecode file rather than the source code file. So I'll write Java hello world. I'll hit enter. Can you see the output over here? It says hello guys. Maybe you want to write anything else. Let's say you want to write welcome to the course. I'll save it and I will again compile it. Java C hello world.java has been compiled and I'll write Java hello world. And now it is giving me two outputs. Hello guys, welcome to the course. So well, this is something that is known as printing stuff using Java. Basically, whatever you give the computer the code, this code helps you to understand that whatever you have given or whatever you have asked your computer to do, the computer has understood that task and it has given you a result of what you wanted it to do. You wanted it to display on the screen these two statements. It has displayed on the screen these two statements. How do you ask your computer to do that? Well, by writing a Java code. What Java code? This Java code. Now, what does public static void mean? Well, basically, this is the very starting point of your application. Starting point of your application, as in whatever you write in here, will be visible on the output. Now, imagine you want to take, let's say, user input. We will learn about that as well. But something that is known as loops. How many of you are comfortable with the concept of loops? Can anybody tell me? In Java, have you ever heard about loops, or in programming languages, have you ever heard about loops? And has it ever scared you, the concept of loops? Ever? So Lakshmi must be very comfortable about this concept, I believe. But how about Ajay and Saf? How much of it have you known about programming languages? Can you let me know?
So I'm a
Uh-huh.
beginner, Rahul. I'm
Ajay
not.
is a beginner, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So Ajay, have you ever had any hands-on experience with any programming language per se?
So Pega, I use for Pega for JavaScripts,
Okay.
and the VS Code I
Other
use
than
for tools and using my own tools for the cybersecurity. and the Java
Okay.
is code to write to for the commands.
Hmm.
So I'm not intermediate. I'm a beginner. I understand. I understand the code.
Okay.
I can
All right.
rewrite the code.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good, Ajay. What about Seth? Seth, how much
Uh,
are you familiar with the programming language?
I can't remember much about loops or Java.
Okay. All right. So programming language is basically a language that helps you to interact and which helps you to write some commands in it so that it can give those commands to the computer and computer can do your desired output, give you a desired output. That is what a programming language is all about. So a programming language, in simple words, is a tool you use to interact with your computer to give it commands so that it can give you some output. As simple as that. Now imagine I want my computer to create a huge application. To ask my computer to create huge application, I should first know how to interact with it at very small stages. How to make it do little things. Because if only you have gotten reply from your crush on Instagram, will you be able to initiate a conversation? And if only you have initiated a conversation, will she get comfortable? And if only you have understood her bit by bit, will you be able to go into a relationship with her? So big things start with small steps. Guys, do you agree with me? And Lakshmi, do you agree with me over here?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm very famous, or you can say infamous, for these examples that I give. And to be all very honest, well, this is how my classrooms are. This is how my sessions are. They are absolutely, I would say, we go ahead with respect, of course, but they are absolutely full of humor. They are absolutely filled with such stuff, such examples, because I believe youth, any youth, for example, for that matter, is capable of understanding things if I go to their level and train them. And I believe things which are prevalent in youth are such examples. So I take such examples, and I hope you guys don't mind. If anybody minds it, please let me know. But I believe you better understand things when I take these kinds of, messy examples or these kinds of humorous stuff. Never mind. Moving forward, imagine if I want my computer to think. If I want my computer to think, I can use something that is known as if and else. What is if and else? We'll talk about that later on. But many times what happens is, I'll give you a real life example, okay? Java is a language which believes in the concept of type safety, which believes in the which believes in the concept of aesthetics. So talking about aesthetics, have you ever known? I'll give you an example that you will be able to relate to very well. Do you know that different alcoholic drinks have got different types of glasses to them? For beer, we got different glass. For, let's say, champagne, we got a different glass. For wine, we got a different glass. For rum, we got a different glass. For gins and tequila shots, we got a different glass. So on and so forth. You know that, guys. I mean, it's okay if you don't want to reveal that, whether you drink or not, but do you at least know
Volume.
through your friends, even if you don't drink?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
okay. So,
volume
Seth, I'm sorry, Ajay?
depend upon volume.
Dep- depends upon the volume. Well, if a person if there's a drinker and he is a very sophisticated drinker or if he's a very aesthetic drinker, well, he won't like a champagne in a beer glass or something like that. The same is the case of Java. The same is the case with Java. Java says that a particular type of data should be inside a variable of a particular type. Okay, I said something about variable. What exactly is a variable? Does anybody of you know?
Numbers.
Well, nah, no. The variables that you are talking about is algebra, Ajay. So In algebra, well, the variables have in, let's say, entities which can have variable stuff. I still remember the definition from my third grade. Entities which can have variable values and stuff. No. In Java and in programming languages, basically, variables are entities which can hold something in them. What can hold something in them? A container. So in the real world, you have a container to hold something. Maybe I have a container. I have a coffee mug over here. That's a container. I have a bottle over here. This bottle is a container. I have, let's say, my thermos flask with me. That is a container. Similarly, in programming world, to hold data, like what kind of data then? Data can be anything. Anything and everything in a programming language is data. Data can be anything from something as simple as your username, email ID, password, your girlfriend's name, your crush's name, etc. I'm just giving an example, okay? So data can be anything. To hold data in a programming language, we use a tool. So a tool that we use to hold the data, a container we use to hold data, that container is called a variable. Say, Ajay, making sense?
Yeah,
Saif,
yes.
Ajay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for the
Yeah.
confirmation. So again, what basically you got it. I won't repeat that. I hate those professors who repeat the same statement twice or thrice and they you start hating that professor again. And even I've had those experiences. So let's talk about it. So well, basically simple. Variable is nothing but container. Variable equals container. Virtual container. So a virtual container means a container which is inside your computer. What is a variable? It's a virtual container. Now, what Java says is that, I like this. This is what Java says. I like to keep things sorted. So if you want to put numbers in numbers, also there's got tons of varieties. So imagine if you want to put numbers also, well, make sure that those numbers are of a particular type. So Java says, if you want to store numbers, I'm sorry, my bad. Java says if you want to store numbers, well, there is segregation in numbers. There can be three types of numbers, guys. Real numbers, there can be integers, and there can be decimal point numbers or floating point numbers. What Java says, let's see. If you want to store numbers where there is no decimal points, then Java calls such numbers as integers. Maybe I want to store, let's say, my favorite number 3. So if you want to store 3, well, you are going to create a variable and that variable's name, that variable is going to be of type int. So if you want to create this variable, what is the code that you'll have to write? Well, this is the code that you will have to write. I'll just quickly show it to you. To create this kind of a virtual thing, you'll have to write this code. We'll have to write int, give this variable a name. Let's say int number equals 3. When you write this code in Java, basically, I will put this in Java. So when you write this code in Java, what it means is create a variable which can hold only integers now. And the name of the variable should be number. And inside that variable, put the value 3. Well, this kind of a variable called number, which can hold only integer values, will be created with the value 3. Let's do the one thing. Let's see how we can do that in Java. Okay, something as simple as that. Let's go back to our VS Code screen here. And let's create a variable real quick. So I'll say int number equals 3. Now number is a variable. It's a container which is holding 3 right now. If I want to see if this number variable is holding 3 or not, Well, I can simply write system.println, system.out.println with S capital. This is a command in Java that you have to write to print something on the screen when the code is executed. So when you run this code, what do you want to be visible on the screen? Well, two things will be visible here. Hello guys and welcome to the course. If I remove this and if I just write int number equals 3 and then here if I write number, if I write number inside inverted commas with a colon, what will be the output? And I'll write plus number over here. Now, inside system.println, I've written number. Inside inverted commas, and the inverted comma ends over here. I've written plus symbol, and then I've written number. This number refers to this variable. And this particular number refers to a string to get printed, a statement that should be printed. Well, let's see what will be the output and then try to understand. We are going to do reverse tracing. So again, I'll write Java C hello world.java. Then I will write Java hello world. And if you can see what is printed, now let's trace it. Whatever was written in inverted comma, that got printed as it is. And then when I write plus and whatever I have not written inside inverted comma, that's what that was considered as a variable. Did we have that variable in the program? Yes. What was the value of the variable? 3. So that 3 got printed. And now this program of mine is telling me that inside that container, what is the number? It is printing that number, that data on the screen. This is what this program is doing. Maybe I'll call this as number 1 and I will write int number 2 equals to, let's say, 6 semicolon. Semicolon, why I've given? Yeah, I have to write it that way. And I'm going to remove this line. Maybe I'll write int result equals number 1 plus number 2. I'll put a semicolon there. And whatever will be the value of number 1 variable, whatever will be the value of number 2 variable, the addition of these two will go and enter this stuff which is on the left hand side of the equal to sign. On the left hand side of the equal to symbol, what is the result variable is there. So I've created a result variable which is going to store the addition of these two. So number 1 plus number 2, 3 plus 6, 9 will be stored in result. And rather than number, I'll write result is result. If I do this much, now look at my terminal. I will compile and then I will run. And the output that we got is result is 9. Who did the addition? Me? No. My program? No. My processor did it. And my program just asked my processor what needs to be done. My processor added the numbers and gave me an output on the screen, which is result is 9. Maybe if it's not looking good, I'll make the R capital, save it, compile it, again run it, and the R is capital in the output. So now you guys have understood a very simple program. Of course, for Lakshmi, it must be very, very simple, but pertaining to everybody's needs and level of their understanding of programming languages, I had to keep my sessions this way. I had to keep my session this way in this particular fashion,
Yeah, it's okay, no worries.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Lakshmi.
Yeah.
So, Seth, did you understand what happened exactly over here?
Um,
A
the
little bit, right?
yeah.
Exactly. And that is the reason why I hate only showing you the programs and I hate only showing you the PDFs. I like a combination of both because since childhood we have been learning on blackboards or whiteboards, but nothing other than that, right? And I believe it's best when we learn through diagrammatical format. So when you write number, when you write, let's say, I'll tell you the coding screen, I'll put it over here, okay? Imagine the red color screen is the coding screen. the code inside public static void main. When you write int number 1 equals 3, a variable called number 1 gets created with the value 3. Okay. Now, when you write int number 2 equals, let's say 6, when you write this code, another variable gets created, another container gets created in the background, which you cannot see, but it gets created, which is called number 2. In it, the value 6 gets stored. Now, the moment you write this code, which is result equals number 1 space plus number 2 with the semicolon. The moment you write this, well, what happens is the addition of these two gets created. Okay, both these get added. Let me just make a curvature. The addition of these two gets stored in a third variable of integer type only, and the third variable's name is result. Whatever you wrote on the RHS, whenever you see equal to sign in any programming language, start reading Urdu. What I'm saying, start reading Urdu. Start reading from the right hand side. Number 1, what is number 1? The value of number 1 is 3, correct? So the value of number 1 is 3. The value of number 2, this variable is 6. Do I have to call them number 1, number 2 only? No, I can call them A as well. I can call them B as well. But are you comfortable if I'm calling them number 1 and number 2? Steph, Ajay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So number 1 has what value? 3. Number 2 has what value? 6. If you add them, what is the answer you get? You get 9. This 9 gets stored in a variable called result. So in the variable called result, their addition gets stored. So RHS actually gets evaluated. Then this equal to sign is going to send the data of RHS to the variable of LHS. So on the LHS, what is the name of the variable? Result. And hence, in the result named variable, 9 gets stored. Now, when you write one last code, which is system.println, let's see what happens. When you write system dot out dot println, and here you write result is, and plus if you write result, well, what happens? Basically, this statement is printed, which is, I'll just show it to you. So on your computer screen, this statement is printed, result is, with the value of the result variable. What is the value of the result variable? It is 9. And this, my dear friends, gets printed on your computer screen. I'll show the computer screen this way. So basically, a programming language has the power to evaluate stuff and give us desired results. So not just addition, subtraction, but there's lots of complicated stuff which a programming language can do. And this programming language over here, in this programming language, we have learned what are variables, nothing but containers to hold data. We have also seen what is the command that we use to print whatever we want to print in Java. If you want to make our computer print something on the screen, then we can use a command called system.println. And we also understood the history of Java. We also saw how Java works and what are the basics of Java. So I hope each one of you understood everything. Of course, Lakshmi already knows these things, but Saif and Ajay,
Yeah, yeah.
and also Lakshmi, I hope you got to know
Yeah.
a little bit extra than what you already knew about, right?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So tomorrow we are going to be talking about the application of Java and why we could use and why we have been able to use Java to solve real world problems. What are object oriented? What is object oriented programming language? Why Java is called a object oriented programming language? And all these concepts we are going to see. And today I spoke of one more thing that is known as loops. Does anybody know what exactly is a loop? Apart from Lakshmi, that is.
Is it when you loop?
I'm sorry, sir. Can you come again?
Is it when you loop it
Yep.
in a so it keeps coming to the same?
Exactly, exactly. Looping is something that pertains to running a piece of code again and again. Like sometimes it might happen that you want to run a piece of code again and again rather than writing things or continuously, or rather than writing same things or repeating things. So that concept as well, we are going to be seeing on like in the another session of ours. And in the meantime, I would like you people to talk about how this particular whole structure goes on. Okay. So at IDTH, I again give you a very brief understanding, a brief intro of what IDTH is, how it works, and stuff like that. But I would also like to tell you people that at IDTH, because you must be curious about that, and we have come to the conclusion of our session. But I would like to tell you people this thing as well, which is over here. Yeah. So we just don't have training sessions. We have job placement support as well available with us, wherein we help you to craft your amazing CVs and to gain your skills. We have lots of clients that we are in touch with to get you people placements, and which the courses that we have, they are not just tailored for your understanding or skill enhancement, but also for preparing you for interviews. We've got comprehensive placement assistance that we provide, and also groomings are provided whenever you people are going ahead for any interview. Imagine you have an interview tomorrow, a grooming session will be scheduled for you people upon your request, wherein tips and tricks and the ongoing questions which are very prevalent in the market will be told to you people, and how it all works. So how even like imagine if you have taken a particular course, how that particular course works. Well, there's going to be training for 2 months, complete 2 months. We're going to have trainings for 10 to 12 weeks approximately, or 8 weeks depending upon the course. And then there is a live project on which you will be working for one whole month, which is going to strengthen your understanding of the industry. And then your course gets completed. And once your course gets completed, well, basically, a job support service based after the assessment gets started. And in the job support service, there's going to be CV enhancement, there's going to be grooming sessions. And if you hit any assignments, if you are given any assignments by, let's say, any recruiter, we'll help you with that as well. So that is how our job support service works. So one thing is course, the other thing is job support service, along with the live project that you work on, be it any course. Okay. Now, this is the whole flow, and this is how the placement support works basically. And we are very well known in the UK, in the entire UK, for this particular purpose of both courses and placing you people. Okay. So now moving forward, the training schedule. Well, we have these batches available, and depending upon your requirement, there can be another batch that can be started. So we got weekdays and weekend batches also available. We got recordings available for 3 months from the time of your course lecture being completed. We got recordings that we avail to the students. An expiry of 3 months is there. And if you'd like to enroll for any of the courses, well, you can fill out the form